This is Dwayne at Real Fixes Real Fast again. Today we're going to show you a problem we found with the fuel pump that caused us some frustration. Maybe it'll save you some. We're working on a 96 Chevy Express full-size van. The complaint basically was a no start, and we diagnosed it as the fuel pump being bad, and it was bad. But we also had a problem with the cylinder. And the reason we said that is because the fuel cylinder didn't show completely empty, but when we pulled the fuel pump out, it was completely empty.
The new fuel pump fixed the no start. It started and ran normally, but the fuel gauge level did not read correctly.
Now the issue here is the wrong part based on the year. Now the van we're working on was built in 6 of 96. We needed a fuel pump, and we ordered a 97 model because a lot of times they'll move up to that next year. Well, this is where our mistake started.
We should have ordered it by the correct VIN number and not by the build date.
So let me show you on these fuel pumps what we found and how we resolved it. Now this is our original fuel pump, a 6 of 96 build. The fuel cylinder is on side, the pump's on the inside, but the cylinder actually has a float on it. Our float's missing, but this is the cylinder. Now normally, if this is in the down position and your float were down, that would be the empty position. So we're actually going to use our DVOM and look at our reading. Reading around 6 or so, 6.5 ohms. We're going to take our gas gauge as if it was full of gas and move it all the way up to the top and watch our DVOM. So we're in the high 90s for full. Now you know as you move this down, if you went half full, you should about have half the reading. You move down, same thing. So you can see that the cylinder is working. But it just wasn't accurate because when it was at 0, it was showing 4 ohms and we had no gas in there. Now let's move to the replacement we ordered out, which is a 97. Now remember, the other one's the old. This is a brand new unit, but it's the wrong one. Now on our new one, we're going to touch the contacts and we've got our float all the way to down, so this would indicate empty. And we're at 40 ohms where the other one was down around 5 or so, 5 or 6. So now with the brand new pump and our floats at the bottom, you can read our ohms at about 40, 39 or so. And as we move up, if we get to the full range where we're full of gas, you can see we're reading 174, 175. It'll go up even more. Reposition ourselves here. We'll go to the full float. We're over 200 ohms. Now the old one bottomed out around 6 or 7 and maxed out around 90. This one bottomed out around 40 and maxed out around 250. Now why would that be? Because the 97 had an anti-slosh module in it that needed a different resistance range.
Most 97s and some 96s contain a dampening function in the fuel gauge circuit, and that dampening function allows the gauge to respond slowly to changes in fuel tank levels, preventing the large needle swings that occur when you're driving around corners, heavy accelerations, or decelerations. And that module is called the anti-slosh function.
So how did this come to our attention? Because when our first fuel pump went bad, it comes with a fuel sending and a pump all together as one unit. When we replaced it, it was still showing about 1/8 of a tank of gas. When we put the new one in, with the same amount of gas in it, now it was showing 1/2 a tank, which we knew was incorrect. It couldn't be that. So instead of putting in the 97, which we'd ordered out, we ordered out a 96 module that does not have an anti-slush module, put it in, and now everything was correct. If you get the wrong one, your readings will be off and your gauge won't be accurate. Be sure and decode your VIN to make sure you're getting the right model year that's in there and get the right pump. But when you get it out, check it against your ohm values so that you don't have to put it in there like we did. Put it all back underneath the van, fill it up, find out you're wrong and have to drop that tank and do it again twice. We don't want to do them again twice, so hopefully this will save you some time.